The Supreme Court dealt a major blow to President Trump's request to keep billions in foreign aid frozen. Tyrone Bowman live. Welcome to the conversation tonight and welcome to the program. Let's get right down to it and find out exactly what's going on here. According to CNN, a divided Supreme Court on Wednesday rejected the Trump administration's request to keep billions of dollars in foreign aid approved by Congress frozen. However, the court did not immediately say when the money must be released, allowing the White House to continue to dispute the issue in lower courts. The ruling was a 5-4 decision. The order was unsigned, but 4 conservative justices dissented: Samuel Alito, Clarence Thomas, Neil Gorsuch, and Brett Kavanaugh. That put 5 justices in the majority: Chief Justice John Roberts, Amy Coney Barrett, Elena Kagan, Sonia Sotomayor, and Ketanji Brown Jackson. The majority noted that given a court-ordered deadline to spend the money last week had already passed, the lower courts should clarify what obligations the government must fulfill to ensure compliance with a temporary restraining order. In a strongly worded dissent, Alito wrote that he was stunned by the court's decision to permit the lower court judge to order the administration to unfreeze the foreign aid at issue in the case. Alito added, a federal court has many tools to address a party's supposed non-feasance. Self-aggrandizement of its jurisdiction is not one of them. While the ruling was 5-4, it was extremely modest, said Steve Valdek, CNN Supreme Court analyst and professor at Georgetown University Law Center. The unsigned order does not actually require the Trump administration to immediately make up to $2 billion in foreign aid payments. It merely clears the way for the district court to compel those payments, presumably, if it's more specific about the contracts that have to be honored, Valdek said. The fact that 4 justices nevertheless dissented vigorously from such a decision is a sign that the court is going to be divided, perhaps along these exact lines, in many of the more impactful Trump-related cases that are already on their way. Well, the 4 justices who dissented, you automatically know they're MAGA justices. They're going to make sure that they give the president everything that he wants. They're never going to go along with the majority who made this decision. And what else would you expect Clarence Thomas to do anyway? He's a non-factor in our community. The appeal raced to the High Court within days, exceeding fast by the federal judiciary standards. It is the second case to which the justices, dealing with Trump's moves to consolidate power within the executive branch and dramatically reshape the government after taking power in January. At the center of the case is billions of dollars in foreign aid from the State Department and the U.S. Agency International Development that Trump froze in January as he sought to clamp down spending and bring those agencies in line with this agenda. Several nonprofit groups that rely on the funding for global health and other programs sued, asserting that the administration's move usurped the power of Congress to control government spending and violated a federal law that dictates how agencies make decisions. In a brief on Friday, the groups decided or described the administration's actions as having a devastating impact. They told the court that the funding advances U.S. interests abroad and improves, and in many cases literally saves, the lives of millions of people across the globe. In doing so, it helps to stop problems like disease and instability overseas before they reach our shores, the groups said. U.S. District Judge Amir Ali on February 13 ordered that much of the money continue to flow on a temporary basis while he reviewed the case. Days later, the plaintiffs argued that the administration was defying that order and continuing to block the spending, and Ali then ordered the Trump administration to spend the money at issue by midnight Wednesday. Ali was named to the bench by President Joe Biden. The Trump administration rushed an emergency appeal to the Supreme Court hours before that deadline, urging that the court to at least pause it for a few days. Something doesn't sound right here. You know, ladies and gentlemen, oftentimes you really have to read between the lines. You can't take everything for faith value. There's something going on here. There really is. There is something unscrupulous that's going on here. The administration is making substantial efforts to review payments requests and spend the money the government argued, but it couldn't turn the spigot on fast enough to meet the Ali's timeline. The groups that sued have balked at that explanation, arguing that a small number of political appointees within the administration are refusing to authorize essentially any payments. The government has not taken any meaningful steps to come into compliance. The group said a Supreme Court filing earlier Friday. Roberts, acting alone, gave the administration a brief reprieve on Wednesday, issuing what's known as an administrative stay that pushed pause on the case so that both sides could submit written arguments. The Chief Justice handles emergency cases rising from the Federal Court of Appeals in Washington, D.C. Among the groups challenging the freeze are the AIDS Vaccine Advocacy Coalition, a New York based organization working to speed HIV prevention, and the Global Health Council, based in Washington, D.C., which represents other groups that administer health programs. The Trump administration revealed in court filings in the case that it is attempting to terminate more than 90% of the U.S. foreign aid awards. In total, nearly 5,800 U.S. aid awards were terminated and more than 500 U.S. aid awards were retained, a filing from the administration said. The total ceiling value of the retained awards is approximately $57 billion, the filing said. In addition to the U.S. aid award termination, approximately 4,100 state awards were terminated and approximately 2,100 state awards were retained, the government told a lower court, referring to the State Department. Aid programs around the world have groups to a halt due to the sweeping funding freeze and review of billions of dollars of assistance. It also comes as the Trump administration has either placed the majority of U.S. aid workforce on leave or terminated them. On Capitol Hill, Democrats said the ruling shows that Trump's power to freeze spending is not unlimited. That money has already been appropriated. Things were already in action. So I think the Supreme Court ruled the right way, and now the administration needs to unfreeze them and allow these contractors and the work to be done, said Representative Gregory Meeks of New York, the top Democrat on the House Foreign Affairs Committee. Representative Pramila Jayapal called it a very important ruling from a Trump-dominated court. I think it reinforces that Congress has authorization to appropriate money and that people rely on that authorization for these programs, and that when you do the work, you should get paid when it's been authorized, the Washington State Democrat told CNN. Asked if she's confident the payments will be turned on, Jayapal said she's not confident about anything. I'll leave that right there. Tyrone Bowman, never surrender, never quit.